The 2027 C8 Corvette Grand Sport is an unbelievable car, and if money were no object, I would absolutely pick that over the base Stingray. However, that's not how people buy cars. The real question isn't what is the better car, it is which is the better value. In this video, by the end, I think I'll have you convinced that the Stingray is actually a better value play than going with the Grand Sport. Let's get into it. Briefly, let's discuss why the Grand Sport has been one of the more respected Corvette models in years past. The idea was simple. You take the engine from the base Corvette, you pair it with the many track-focused upgrades of the Z06, except for the engine of course, and you create a car for buyers who wanted better cornering, a more aggressive appearance, and a more track-focused chassis without stepping all the way up to the flagship performance model Z06. And that's why enthusiasts have loved the Grand Sport in the past, right? It was that middle ground. It gave you capability. It wasn't necessarily about horsepower, but it gave you that aesthetic of the Z06. So you got the best of both worlds and it made sense. Or at least it made sense in years past. The question of this video is, does it make sense now? Let's talk about the similarities between these two vehicles, because that's where I think this conversation gets extremely interesting, starting with the engine. They've got the same one. The 27 Stingray and Grand Sport both shared the exact same naturally aspirated 6.7 liter LS6 V8. That means both cars have 535 horsepower and 520 pound-feet of torque. They also share the exact same 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, so when you put your foot down on the gas, you're getting a very, very similar experience, right? Same power, same engine, same transmission, gotta be a very similar rough 0 to 60 time. Those are things that matter, especially when there's a $15,000 gap between the two models, right? So what are you actually getting for that $15,000? Does it make sense? Well, to be fair, you are getting some pretty meaningful upgrades to the Stingray on the Grand Sport. You get the wider Z06 style body, magnetic ride control, that's going to be standard. You've got your center exhaust exits that looks just so great on the Z06, and we've had that in years past or generations past. It's got the larger brakes, wider Michelin tires, more aggressive aerodynamics, and I want to make one thing very clear. These upgrades are valuable. There is a difference, especially that wide body. That's probably the biggest selling point. It does make a difference in appearance. If you look at the Z06 and you look at the Stingray, both beautiful cars, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it does matter when you're looking at the car. It's different. The wide body does look better. The wider tires, it does look more aggressive. The bigger brakes, it does look more aggressive. However, for me, $15,000 is a lot. What I would do is I would buy the center exhaust, because that's actually an option on the Stingray now. You could not get that in years past. That's under $2,000. Magnetic ride control, that comes standard in the Grand Sport. Like I mentioned, you can actually opt for that on the Stingray. That's under $2,000. So combined for under $4,000, you're chipping away at what you're getting out of the Grand Sport. You can't replace the wide body, but you can replace a few of those other things by just optioning them out on your Stingray. And if you're like most Corvette owners, the performance upgrades that you're actually getting on the Grand Sport versus the Stingray, you're not going to actually see those on the road. Are you actually pushing the car hard enough on the regular streets to be able to notice that, to be able to utilize those upgrades? My guess would be no. I'm a former 2022 C8 Corvette owner, and when I was driving that car, the power was more than enough, absolutely more than enough. So now you have even more power, even more torque coming out with this new engine in 2027. I can't imagine wanting anything more than that, or certainly needing anything more than that, so keep that in mind. Now I want to talk about what kind of buyer would be best suited for each model. So if you're buying a Stingray, if you're just going to take this car, daily drive it on the street, I would pick out the Stingray 100% of the time. It already has more performance than almost anyone will ever fully use. Like I mentioned, you're getting the exact same engine, the exact same transmission, nearly the same straight line performance, and you're saving around $15,000. Personally, I'd use that money towards options on my Stingray, and you'll still end up coming out well ahead financially. Now, if you're a track enthusiast, that's probably your strongest argument for a person that would go out and get a Grand Sport over a Stingray if those are your two options. You get all those extra upgrades. You get the upgraded brakes, suspension, tires, all those things will matter, especially on a track. However, for me, if you're actually going all in because you like that wide body, you like the performance upgrades, I say go all in. Go ahead and get yourself a Z06 at that point. My thinking is going to change. If I'm already spending close to $90,000 on a Grand Sport because of all of those things that I like, the Z06 checks all those boxes and more. So I'm going to go a little farther and buy the Z06. I understand that's easier said than done, and you can just continue to go down the line and say, oh, if you just want something better, get the ZR1. I get that, but we are seeing brand new 2025 Z06s still sitting on dealer lots with significant discounts. Some are hovering right around $100,000. So now we're talking about roughly another $10,000 in that particular scenario, and you're getting an entirely different level of performance. So if I'm buying a Corvette for track use, I'm going all in and buying the Z06. I'm not going to pick the Grand Sport. I know this video is just about the Stingray and the Grand Sport, but I just wanted to mention that. The other argument that could be made to go ahead and get the Grand Sport would be the exclusivity that you would get by buying a Grand Sport. Now for me, it doesn't really matter. I bought the C6 Corvette because it was something that was important to me, something that I really liked, and I just loved the car itself. When I bought the C8 Corvette a long time ago in 2022, I bought that car because I thought that car was absolutely amazing. The rarity of the car didn't really do it for me, but if you want something that most people don't have, at least for the first couple years, that could be a reason to go with the Grand Sport, and I would respect that. But after a while, there's going to be a lot on the road, just like there is the Stingray. You see them around all the time when you're driving right now. It's not like it was in the early 2020s when you couldn't really find them. When you saw one, it was sort of rare. You'd point it out. It'd be something special. Nowadays, like I said, everyone has one, which isn't a big deal. But if you want something a little more special, the Grand Sport could be important to you, at least for the first little while, until those get overpopulated. So it's definitely something to consider, but I don't think that should be really a deciding factor. I want to finish this video by saying this is not a knock on the Grand Sport at all. This is more praise for the Stingray, and I know Chevrolet and GM have upped the price year after year for the base cost of the Stingray. However, it is still a performance bargain at just about $73,000 to get into one. That's not to mention there's discounts going around, and you can certainly get that car for under MSRP, at least in 2026 and for the 2025 model year. But overall, I just feel like there's too many similarities between the C8 Grand Sport and the C8 Stingray, at least for 2027, to where I'd save the cash, I'd keep the money, and I'd go with the Stingray because I know you're going to enjoy that vehicle, and you're getting almost the same car in some ways. There's really no bad choice. Either way, you're going to be enjoying one of the best American-built sports cars ever, one of the best sports cars built ever, period. And let me know in the comments below, are you considering buying a Grand Sport? Are you on a waiting list? Are you going to opt to go with the Stingray over the Grand Sport? Are you going new or used? Let me know in the comments below. I enjoy reading that and responding. So that'll be it for this video. For more Corvette content weekly, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.